They sent a salvage crew to investigate the silence. The station was supposed to be dead, but inside its halls, something waited. Something that remembered every scream, every death, every body it had ever consumed. And it was still hungry. Before we begin, if you love stories of survival, horror, and humanity's defiance in the face of the impossible, make sure you hit subscribe and like this video. Now, let me take you to the station that was never meant to be found. The message had been simple, all systems nominal, scheduled ore shipment arriving in 7 days. Then silence. Mining stations went quiet sometimes, malfunctions, communications relays burned out under radiation storms. But this silence was different. It stretched on for weeks, and when the corporation's backups failed to reach the station, a salvage crew was dispatched. Not military, not official. Just 6 humans in a patched freighter, paid in advance to investigate and recover whatever was left. The station's name was Ganymede Reach 12, hanging on the edge of Jupiter's shadow, locked against the pull of endless gravity. Built to last centuries, it should have been a beacon of industry, its corridors lit with the hum of machinery, its reactors hot with power. Instead, as the salvage crew's ship approached, all they saw was dark metal against darker space. No lights, no beacons, just a hollow silhouette drifting like a coffin. Captain Juno Vey stared at the dead station through the forward viewport. Her crew shifted behind her, restless. "It's cold," muttered Mara, the ship's engineer. Her voice was low, a whisper, as though the silence of the place pressed on her lungs. "Look at the heat scans. It's not just shut down. It's empty." Empty stations meant profit. No survivors meant no lawsuits. No power meant less to fight through to strip it bare. But none of them said it out loud because there was something in that silence that made words feel heavier than they should. Docking was slow, deliberate. Their magnetic clamps kissed the metal hull of Reach 12. The crew suited up, helmets locking, lights flaring across their visors. And then the hatch opened, and for the first time in months, air moved inside the station. It smelled wrong. Not decay, not blood, just wrong. Stale, metallic, with an undercurrent like rusted iron and something almost sweet, like old fruit rotting in heat. "Systems are offline," Mara reported, her scanner flickering static. "No power signatures, no life readings." "Then we find the black boxes, salvage what we can, and get out," Juno said. She didn't mention the bonus for survivor recovery. No one expected to find any. The corridors stretched out like the bones of something long dead. Their footsteps echoed against metal, each sound swallowed too quickly, as though the walls themselves were drinking in the noise. The deeper they went, the worse it felt. Scratches along bulkheads, dents in doors, as though something inside had fought to get out. In the first habitation module, they found the mess hall. Trays still sat on tables, food, half-eaten, frozen in place. A cup rolled against the wall as the air system sighed faintly, disturbed by their entry, but no bodies, no blood, just the echo of lives interrupted mid-motion. "Where the hell did they go?" whispered Aras, the youngest of the crew. He was new, barely 20, hands shaking as his light cut through the room. 200 people don't just vanish. But they had. Hours passed. They searched dormitories, control rooms, processing plants, personal items scattered, tools dropped mid-use, a child's toy sitting abandoned in a corner. The more they searched, the heavier the silence became, until Juno called for regroup. "We sweep the lower levels tomorrow. Pull back to the ship for tonight." But when they turned toward the docking corridor, the hatch was gone. At least, it looked gone. Where metal should have split into the airlock, there was only wall. Smooth, seamless wall. Mara cursed, running her gloved hand across it. No, this doesn't make sense. I saw it. We came through here." They tried another route, another corridor, another bulkhead. each one twisted into dead ends that shouldn't exist, as though the station was rearranging itself, closing off escape. "It's impossible," Aris said, panic rising in his voice. "Stations don't just shift." But Reach 12 was shifting. That night, if it could be called night in a place without time, they camped in the control hub. They set perimeter alarms, lights burning into the dark. But as they rested, each of them dreamed. Juno saw the station breathing, its walls pulsing like muscle. Mara dreamed of voices whispering through wires. Aris woke screaming, swearing something had been leaning over him, watching. The alarms never triggered, but when they woke, one of them was missing. It was Silva, their medic. Her sleeping bag lay empty, gear untouched, no signs of struggle, just gone. And on the wall where she had slept was an imprint, a faint outline, like something had pressed her into the metal until she sank through it, leaving only a shadow. From then on, everything moved faster. Doors opened where none had existed, corridors folded back on themselves. The walls seemed closer, pressing in, and in the distance, sounds, not footsteps, not voices, just the echo of things moving always just out of sight, just. They tried to fight it. Plasma torches burned into bulkheads, explosives tore open new passages, but every wound they made healed behind them, metal knitting like flesh. The station was alive, and it remembered. They found records in fragments, logs of engineers speaking of strange vibrations in the walls, workers vanishing, machinery that began repairing itself faster than it should, then entire shifts disappearing without alarm. The last entry was a voice, half screaming, half sobbing. "It's not a station, it's eating us!" By the third day, there were only 3 left, Juno, Mara, and Aris. Aris broke first. He ran into the dark, screaming for an exit. They heard him for hours, shouts, sobs, the pounding of fists against walls. Then silence. When they found him, his body was half absorbed into the floor, face frozen in terror, hand still reaching for them. Mara snapped after that. She begged Juno to burn it all, to overload the reactors, to kill the thing from the inside, and maybe it would have worked if the reactor still existed. But when they reached the core, there was nothing but an endless tunnel of breathing walls, stretching deeper and deeper. The truth came slowly, horribly. Reach 12 hadn't been built on empty rock. It had been built on top of something. A dormant mass, an organism buried deep in Jupiter's orbit, mistaken for stone. The mining had awakened it, and in return it had swallowed the station whole, weaving steel and flesh together until the difference was meaningless. It wasn't a station anymore. It was a body, and they were inside its stomach. The last entry was Juno's. Her recorder buzzed static as she whispered into it, voice shaking but steady. "If anyone finds this, don't come here. Don't dock. Don't listen to its signals. It wants us inside. It wants all of us. And it will wait. It has time. It remembers every life it ever took. And it will wear our voices, our faces, our screams, just to bring you in." The recorder fell silent. The last image from Reach 12 was a dark corridor, walls pulsing, shadows shifting like organs. Then nothing. The salvage ship drifted empty, untethered, with no sign of its crew. And far behind it, Reach 12 lit up faintly, just for a moment, as though winking. The galaxy logged it as lost, abandoned, unprofitable, forgotten. But it wasn't forgotten. Not by the station, because the station remembered, and it was still hungry. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to the story of the station that ate them. Tell me in the comments, would you have docked on Reach 12 or turned away the moment you saw it dark? I want to know. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more survival horror tales where humanity stares into the void and refuses to look away. Until next time, stay safe in the dark.